Hello, good morning dear children. In this video, I am going to detail the poem 3 from your book The First Flight, A Tiger in the Zoo. The name of the poet is Leslie Norris. Now dear children, let's see a brief description of Leslie Norris. George Leslie Norris was a prize-winning Welsh poet and short story writer. You know Welsh? Welsh means people of Wales. Wales is located in the southwest of the United Kingdom, and Wales is a country rich in natural and historical attractions. Bordered by England to the east side, Wales is surrounded by the Irish Sea and the Bristol Channel. So children, what is this poem about? This poem, written by Leslie Norris, explains the agony meaning the pain and helplessness of a caged tiger, of an imprisoned tiger, a confined tiger that lives in a zoo. The poem contrasts a tiger when it is in natural habitat and when it is imprisoned in a zoo. It is caged in a zoo. The poet explains what his life could be, the tiger's life could be, if he had been a free animal. But presently the tiger is not at all free because it is imprisoned, it is caged, it is confined. The poet has also tried to explain about the condition of animals that are caged, imprisoned, confined by human beings for their own fun. See children, human beings trap, cage all these animals for their sport, for their fun. So the poet has also focused on the conditions of animals. Okay, now see children, as we move the poem stanza wise, there are 5 stanzas in this poem, okay, having 4 lines in each, and rhyme scheme is also A, B, C, B. But I will discuss the poetic devices in the end of the poem. So 5 stanzas are there having 4 lines in each stanzas. Now see children, when we begin the poem, first the poet takes us to the zoo in the first stanza, and then as we move from first stanza to second, he takes to the jungle, and again in the third and fourth stanza he brings back again to the zoo. So let's begin the first stanza now. See, before that let me see the difficult words. Just stalks first, meaning strides, another word strides, or the simplest meaning for your understanding, to move quietly and slowly in a threatening way. Next it is given vivid, vivid meaning bright colored. Okay, next it is given stripes, stripes meaning long narrow band from the surface on either side. Next it is given pads, pads meaning paws of the tiger, paws. We can also say the feet of the tiger. Okay, and velvet means related to softness. Now let me start detailing the first stanza. See children, the poet describes the beautiful appearance of the tiger in the zoo and its daily movement. For the beautiful appearance, he has used the word vivid stripes. Vivid means bright colored, narrow, long narrow bands. So he has beautified the tiger and has also given its daily movements. The poet says that the tiger that is confined, that is caged, imprisoned in the zoo, moves around or up and down only and only in the cage. and that also under his bright colored skin. Bright color means vivid skin. The stripes, that is the long narrow bands on his body, can be distinguished. It shows something different look, even seen far from, as they are darker in color than the rest of its coat or skin. See, children, the poet further says that the tiger is able to walk, stalk, only few steps. You know why the tiger is able to walk only few steps? Because of the length of its cage. It has very limited space, limited area, and it is not easy to move in it. But children, if the tiger could have been in the jungle, the tiger could have been moving freely here and there, everywhere. But the tiger is helpless now because it is confined in the zoo. The tiger walks quietly without making a sound. For that, the poet has used on pads of velvet quiet. Quiet means the tiger walks quietly without making a sound, or one cannot hear his footsteps because he has smooth velvet pads, because he has very soft feet like velvet, because of which there is no sound of his footsteps. So since he has very smooth velvet pads, so there is no sound of his footsteps when it is moving inside the limited area of his cage. The tiger is full of anger. You know why? But because it is put in the prison. The tiger is in the cage. It is imprisoned. Okay, so the tiger is full of rage. The tiger is full of anger. But the tiger controls. It suppresses. You can see the word given, quiet. This is, children, quiet rage is poetic device is oxymoron. Okay, but I will tell you the poetic devices in the end of the chapter. Quiet rage, you can see rage, anger, and opposite word is used, quiet. So this is oxymoron poetic device. But the tiger controls his rage, controls its anger, suppresses his anger by quietly walking in the limited area of his cage. He knows that he is not free and he is helpless here. That's why he has controlled and suppressed his anger. Okay, children, you can see in the first line the poet has used he in first line, and even in the second stanza also he. That is personification. Okay, poetic device, the poet has personified. So many poetic devices are there, but stanza wise I will detail in the end of the poem. Now moving on to the second stanza, you can see he should be lurking. You can see the word given, lurking. Lurking meaning to be hidden, as to wait for its prey, victim, bait, B-A-I-T, or food. Means the tiger is lurking, hiding behind a shadow. Okay, lurking. Sliding meaning moving smoothly or quietly. Okay, sliding meaning moving smoothly or quietly. Plump, plump means fat. You can see the word given, plump means fat. Now the explanation. The poet is filled with pity while looking at the caged tiger, imprisoned tiger. The poet feels very pity because the tiger is moving, is helpless, is in agony and moving in the limited area. So the poet feels very pity on him. The poet also imagines that the poor tiger should have been in his natural habitat, that is in the wild forest. So the tiger could have been where? He could have been in jungle, in the wild forest. He says that under normal conditions, this tiger would have been moving in the darkness. For the word it is given, shadow, not in the clear daylights. It would have been lying in the shadows of trees or hiding hiding, that is lurking itself behind long grass so that its prey will not be able to detect its movement. You know, children, why the tiger could be lurking in shadow, or why it could be sliding, moving through the long grasses? Because the tiger keeps himself hiding from the prey so that the prey will not find him, will not detect the tiger's movement, coming to charge them, coming to attack them. In this way, the tiger would have moved near the water hole. The word given, water hole. What is water hole? Water hole is a place where all the animals of the forest come to drink on sunny afternoons. There was the water hole. He should be waiting, the tiger would be waiting for some fat deer, for some plump deer to pass that way. Thus, he would be lying there in expectation of heavy feast. Who would be lying there? The tiger could be waiting near the water hole in the hope of expecting for a grand feast, expecting for a victim, for a prey, for food, that is the plump deer. Basically, the poet wants to say that the actual life of a tiger is to live in jungle, okay, where he could catch his prey and eat it. But the tiger in the cage is helpless and cannot do so. Okay, children? Okay, if the tiger could be in the jungle, see, you can see in the first stanza, the poet describes about the tiger in the zoo, and in the second stanza the poet has taken us to the jungle, how the tiger could be moving, okay, moving smoothly, quietly here and there, freely in the jungle at the water hole to catch its prey. But since the tiger is put in the cage, it is imprisoned and confined, the tiger cannot do anything, he is helpless. So, thank you, dear children. I will detail third stanza, fourth stanza, and fifth stanza in the next video. Till then, thank you all, children. Bye.